Well, I've been joined in the studio by the General Secretary of NAGRAT, Samuel Dadzie, for this conversation. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Let's start with the scrapping of the BEC or otherwise. We heard the Professor Mankwade saying it will not be scrapped. Yesterday, I also heard him talk about how it will gradually be scrapped. Whether it will be scrapped now or later, what's your stance on this whole matter?
Thank you very much. I believe the director has spoken, so the issue should be put to rest. If we've been following the development, there is an intention to have a continuous system from primary to SHS.
Yes.
So obviously, when that one is ruled, one would expect that the final or terminal exam will be at the end of SHS.
Okay. Well, but you've issued a statement today, and you are issuing a strong warning with regards to what time teachers are supposed to come back to start the academic year for this new curriculum. What exactly are your concerns?
Good. So we have the academic calendar, and teachers are in a peculiar situation because by the nature of our job, we don't have annual leave as other public servants have. What normally happens is that when we have the holidays for the school children, you are expected to complete your work. Normally, we have examination towards the end of the academic term. And so in the holidays, the teachers are expected to complete marking of their scripts. They do the assessments. Sometimes they have to record. And then once all those things are done, then you take your leave. But we know that all workers, as per the Labour Act, are expected to have annual leave. We take ours in the holidays after we have completed our work. And so we have holidays that we are expected to work, after which we'll take our rest. And mind you, we're dealing with very large class sizes. And then somewhere unilaterally, we heard that teachers are being recalled because students are expected to go to school this August.
Okay.
Contrary to the date in September. So then we said, no, this cannot be. Because first of all, we are not aware of that. Nobody has called her to any meeting to discuss this. And once teachers are having their legitimate rest period, we're saying that they cannot be compelled to go and teach.
Okay.
First, if the GS, for any reason, want teachers to come back, and indeed, as per the law, the employer can recall people, but that should not result in you denying the worker of his leave. So there must be provision for the worker to go back and complete the leave. Here we are running a semester system, and as per the arrangement of the semester, teachers are supposed to enjoy 16 weeks of rest.
Okay.
And some teachers have taught since January.
Okay.
And so for us, we don't understand and we cannot accept that after we have finished marking our work and we are going to take a few weeks to reorganize ourselves, come back refreshed and ready to deliver, we'll be called midstream to come back to school. We don't accept it.
Okay. Have you had any, or have you made any attempt to engage government or the Ghana Education Service on this terms so that they can also hear out? And what has been the response? Of
course, we wrote to the employer once we saw this in the on social media. We wrote and we've not had a direct response, but the minister issued a statement that suggested that we will stick to our normal holiday and go back in September. But that notwithstanding, we've had this issue going round. And so what we're saying is that our position hasn't changed. Teachers are taking their rest. If there's an emergency and teachers will be recalled, there must be a discussion. And then it ought not be compulsory. Teachers must be given the opportunity. Those who want to go must then go. Even then, they must be compensated for their effort.
Okay.
And that must be discussed, as well as the modality for payment, so that those who will do the work will know that they stand to earn XY amount, and it will be paid in this form.
If I look at the statement here, and it was signed by Eric Carbon, who is president of NAGRAT, and I've seen the warning you're issuing. He said NAGRAT maintains its position that teachers should be allowed to enjoy their holiday uninterrupted, that NAGRAT has not negotiated any package for the proposed intervention for incoming Form 3 students since our last press conference. Should government decide to go ahead, and this is where the meat is, with the proposed intervention, it should not be compulsory for all teachers to participate in. Teachers should have the right to decide whether to participate in the program or not. This is your employer who is giving you this directive. I know the labor law also stipulates that workers should have time to take their leave and all of that, but there are also mechanisms in resolving some of these. I mean, what are some of the mechanisms you use in resolving some of these issues? Have you gone through those procedures?
Yes, so the moment we saw this, the first letter we cited actually stated that this thing has come about because some heads of schools have called for it. We wrote immediately to our employer that no, this is against the rules of the game, it's against the Labor Act. And so once we have taken the first step and written, one would expect that there should be a response. And then based on the response, the engagement will follow. Because we have made our intention very clear that it's against the Labor Act and teachers need to rest so that they can go back and do a good job. We've not had any such response from the employer. We have also put it out there in the press conference at the end of last month. And so we're only reminding our members that our position stands same.
Okay, let me have you hold and go on to Skype, where Executive Chairman of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, Kofi Asare, joins us. Good afternoon to you, sir. Many thanks for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers.
I'd like us to start with the issue of whether BEC will be scrapped or not, because we've had back and forth on whether it will be scrapped now or later. But there are indications that it will definitely be scrapped going forward. What's your stance on this?
Well, I think the Director General has made it clear that there are no plans as at now to scrap the BEC. That notwithstanding, there have been issues around the BEC because as we are currently in Parliament with a new bill redefining basic to include senior high school, and the secondary education also free, then there's obviously no point of an external examination at junior high school 3, because basic school will now be redefined to include senior high school education when the bill is passed. And so far as I am concerned, the only relevance of the BEC is for the purpose of placement of students in secondary schools. And so the GNAS should be able to have an innovative way of using assessments in classroom to be able to determine student performance and place them if the BEC is only meant to place. Yeah.
Yes, the explanation we've heard from Dr. Prince Ama, for instance, who is in charge of the curriculum office, is that the BEC has outlived its purpose or its importance. What's your take on this?
Exactly. That's the point I'm making, that if the only essence of the BEC now is to place students in senior high schools, then there should be a basis to determine students' performance in school, other than having a national examination. And that's why we are saying that if students have performance assessments in school, and those assessments are part of the BEC results, then it should be able, the GS must be able to rely on their continuous assessments to be able to grade them and place them. Because there's no point in putting stress on students only for the purpose of placing them in secondary schools. GS must have a system where they will use the continuous assessment of students in school to place them, so that they don't have to take them to the torture of BEC just because of placing them in senior high school. So I agree to a large extent with Dr. Prince, except that we need to plan for it. We need to have systems in place that assures that the continuous assessment given by students are really genuine and that it is not subject to any, machinations by teachers or parents. Once that data is credible, that should suffice a basis to place students in secondary schools other than the BCE.
I know you're aware about this new curriculum that is supposed to be rolled out next month, and I'm sure you may be aware NAGRAT is raising issues with the time teachers are supposed to come back to school to teach. How does all of this development come across to you? All right, we lost Kofi Asare there, who is Executive Chairman of GNEC. We'll try and get him back to express his views on this discussion. But in the event that government goes ahead to do this, and of course in your letter, once again, you stated that should government decide to go ahead and propose with the proposed intervention, it should not be compulsory. And you said we here served notice that the full weight of the union will be brought on anyone who attempts to coerce, harass, or intimidate any teacher who exercises his or her right not to participate in the program. What exactly do you intend to do with in the event that government goes ahead with this plan?
No, the teachers are our members, and our responsibility is to promote their well-being. So what we're saying is that if teachers opt, assuming government goes ahead and teachers opt to be part of it, they must have the freedom to do that. We are not going to interfere. However, if a teacher says, I am having my holiday and I'm not for this, then the teacher must not be compelled. And we will monitor to make sure that our members are not compelled to do things against their wishes. There are ways of going about these things. If you are compelling, first of all, we'll take them to the appropriate quarters. There's a violation of their rights as workers.
Okay.
I will pursue it to logical conclusion. We don't want people to succumb because of fear and intimidation. And that's why we are sounding the notice, so that should they be asked to go, people can then take an independent decision that I want to do or I don't want to do it.
I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. Samuel Dazi is the General Secretary of NAGRAT. We wish you all the best in this endeavor, and we'll be monitoring with keen interest and update our viewers on what happens next. Now.